What's up YouTube, this is Uzmaki101. Today I'll be bringing you Psychic Grandsoil deck profile. This deck's been testing pretty well, a lot of fun, and it's pretty cheap to put together for the most part, depending on your extra deck choices. I'm not entirely sure how well this deck will fare in the current format, but with things that normally hurt it, like Soul Drain, Defission, Macro being hit on the ban list, if you put together a decent enough build, then you should have a chance. So let's get straight into the deck list. 2 Grandsoil. He's sort of your main deck boss monster. Have exactly 5 Earths. Drop this, reborn something from either graveyard. I only put 2 in for 2 reasons. One, because I only have 2, but second reason being, I did test 3 on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and I found them to clog a little bit too much to be worth it. But yeah, with the amount of draw power in this deck, you should get to him reasonably quickly. Next card, 3 Redox. It's your main way of manipulating your graveyard. You know, it's grave manipulation from the grave, so if you have 8 Earths and you top deck a Grandsoil, which would normally be dead, banish 2, summon this, you got 5 left, and you can make your plays. So yeah, that's Redox. Also, the Reborn is nice on any synchro you decide to make throughout the course of the game. For the Psychics themselves, 2 Wizard. Cut it down from 3 because of space issues, and opening it with nothing in grave is not that great. I mean, it's a 1900 beat stick, so it's not horribly bad, but yeah, I think for this build 2 is fine. Although I'm thinking of putting together a build focused on Mask Chameleon as well, because it's got 0 defense. So I think this build's probably slightly better. Then 3 Psychic Witch. You have to run 3. It's your main searcher / floater. Gets you pretty much anything you want out of the deck, so it's extremely good. 1 Cleric. He's not as good as either Wizard or Witch in most situations, but he's an E-Tele target that has the same banish summon effect as Wizard, so pretty good, and if all else fails, he's a 2/1 wall. For the tuners, 1 Esper, cut down from 2 because drawing it honestly sucks, just to be perfectly blunt with you. 2 Commander. You'll see why 2 is important rather than just the 1 as usual E-Tele target later on. And then 2 Psychic Jumper. This is a pay a K to creature swap anything, like a Psychic for an opponent's monster, so extremely good. For the non-Psychics, I run 1 Grandsoil. It's level 3 Earth, bounces huge things. 1 Crane. I quite like this because you can bring back, Commander, go into Barkion or whatever else you want, or bring back like a Cleric or a Witch and go into an Xyz play. Really good open for this deck is Witch Crane, because you can set the Witch, they'll run over it, so that's gone to the grave. You can get either Commander or Esper, special summon it during your turn. So where's Esper? Yeah. Then drop Crane, grab back Witch, and then you have an 8 play. Or alternatively, you could banish Commander and go into like a Mistworm or something else. But yeah, that's why Crane's in there. Again, at 1 because it kind of clog, and you need space in this deck. But yeah, I think it's worth running at 1. And then 2 Maxi to round off the monsters because you need draw power. to get to your combo pieces. For the spells, which is probably the most important aspect of the deck, 1 Dark Hole, 2 MSD for the staples, then 3 E-Telly, just gets you about half your monsters out of the deck, leads into most of your Synchro and Xyz plays. Then 2 Econ, because play goats, and also if you banish tuner, like with a wizard or something, you can Econ, tribute the wizard, steal their monster, summon back the tuner, and then Synchro. So many purposes has for the deck. Then triple goats, stops you getting punched in the face, leads to your Synchro plays, bit of stalling, Econ fodder. It's extremely good for the deck. Then I play 1 Psychic Path. What this does is you pay 800 life points and select up to 2 of your remove from play Psychic type monsters and add them back to your hand. So if you have, say, just this in your hand, a Redox in your grave, and like, I don't know, Wizard and Witch, you can banish the Wizard and Witch, summon back the Redox, play this, grab these both back to your hand, so that seems pretty good. You've plussed like 2 off of a relatively simple play. Then I play 1 Miracle Synchro Fusion, because top decking this is extremely good late game. Just allows you to make your ultimate Accent Kicker, which is extremely good this format. And even if it's dead, you can set it and they might blind space and you get a draw. But yeah, for traps, double Mirror Force, 1 Compulse, 1 Torrential, 1 Bottomless. Should mention Torrential is probably one of the most important traps, because you can Torrential your stuff, and then if it's like Witch or Wizard or something, then you can get monsters straight back to the field. But yeah, 1 Solemn Warning, and then 1 Psychic Overload. This is the mini Avarice for a bit more grave manipulation, mid to late game. 3 Psychics back to deck and draw 2 cards, so more draw power. See a lot of people running 2, but I took 1 out in favour of the Psychic Path, because I like the Redox play with it. But yeah, so that's the main deck. It should be 40 cards. If I've miscounted, please let me know in the comments. Now for the extra, which I believe is this deck's biggest weakness, not because you can't make anything, but because you can make too many things. So picking stuff to run and not to run is incredibly difficult, and it just depends on what your locals meta is like. For instance, you could think to yourself, if only I'd taken out like Catasta in favour of Mistbird Clauseless, which you can make really easy in this deck, I would have won that game, but oh well. So this is entirely customizable, I suppose I'd say. But this is what I've been using with some limited success. So Catasta, Black Rose, Stardust, Scrap Dragon, Mistworm, Star Eater for your generic stuff. Star Eater, if you summon Grandsoil into back row, and it lives, then it's obviously full of deep prisons and mirror forces and stuff like that. So you can bring back Commander and then Synchro into this for a little bit of self-protection. That's it for sort of generic stuff. Beast Barkion, stupidly easy to make, lock down your opponent, amazing. For the Psychics, Synchros, Android, Nightmare, Life Trancer, and Thought Ruler. Life Trancer is good because it's generic and it's a 7, and more grave manipulation. 1 Fusion in the form of Ultimate Accent Kicker. This is your target for Miracle Synchro Fusion. This is any Psychic and any Psychic Synchro. It does things like piercing and life gain, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. And for the final two cards we played two Xyz, and one in the form of Solar Silver Mountain, because Zing-Zen-Hooing your opponent's back row, beating over something and bringing back something called like a Scrap Dragon is pretty important for the deck. Yeah, you can also make this off of Crane and Witch or whatever else you have. And then one Dragosack, because you can make it, and I felt this was slightly more important than things like Big Eye or Master of Blades, simply because it shits out tokens and you run loads of tuners, so that's that. But yeah, let me know in the comments section below what you think of this deck. I'll hopefully get some duel videos in a couple of days, now that I'm actually back at my proper locals, well, the locals I'm managing to go to every week. And next Sunday is the Cardiff Gold Qualifier, which I'll be going to with a slightly interesting deck, so I'll let you know how I did. But for now, it's been Uzmaki191, signing out.